Welcome to the Roy Morgan Weekly Update. Last week, the Albanese government passed a contentious energy bill designed to cap energy prices, and the results from this week's federal voting intention show the passage of this bill has proven popular with Australians. Also this week, we'll take a look at how Australians view the proposal to establish an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice to Parliament, due to go to a referendum late in 2023. And of course, the latest Roy Morgan voting intention for New South Wales ahead of that state's election in just over 3 months' time. But first, a look at the key weekly indicators. The Albanese government's focus on reducing soaring energy costs resulted in the passage through Parliament last week of the Energy Price Relief Plan. As a result, support for the Albanese government increased 2 percentage points to 58.5%. That means it's now over 15% ahead of the coalition on 41.5% on a two-party preferred basis. This is easily the largest lead for the government since being elected in late May, just over 7 months ago. Although support for the government's strengthening, there are still concerns about the direction of the country. This week's Roy Morgan government confidence rating was down 1.5 points to 106.5. 45.5% of Australians now say the country is heading in the right direction. That's down 0.5 percentage points from a week ago, while 39% say the country is heading in the wrong direction. That's up 1 percentage point. And consumer confidence remains well in negative territory below that neutral level of 100. The ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence Index was virtually unchanged at 82.5 this week, down slightly by 0.4 points on a week ago, but that's very, very low. And consumer confidence is tracked in a very narrow band between 82.5 and 83.1 over the last 4 weeks since late November. The index hasn't been consistently above 90 since the Reserve Bank began raising interest rates in early May. We usually see a bounce in consumer confidence in January, but given all of the concerns about interest rates, inflation, cost of living and rising food, grocery and energy prices, it'll be interesting to see if Australians reset and approach the new year with optimism, as we usually do. Next, we look at inflation expectations, which declined rapidly in late November, but have steadied in December, and are this week unchanged at 5.9% in the lead up to Christmas. Looking forward now into 2023, one of the big issues of next year is set to be the proposed referendum on establishing an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice to Parliament, colloquially referred to as the Voice. The Albanese government has pledged to take this proposal to a referendum later next year. Roy Morgan conducted a Snap SMS survey in mid-December to ask what Australians think of the proposal, and the results are revealing. Almost 1,500 Australians who took part in the survey were asked if a referendum were held today that establishes an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice to Parliament, would you vote yes, no, or are you undecided? And a slim majority of 53% of Australians indicated that they would vote yes to the voice. Just under a third, 30%, said they'd vote no, and about 17% are still undecided. The real interest, though, is found when digging into the demographic results and party affiliation, gender, age and state. Looking at support for the voice by party affiliation shows it's already political. Strong support for the voice by both ALP supporters, 76% would vote yes to the voice, and Green supporters, an even higher 89% of Greens would vote yes, and only 2% would vote no. There's also majority support among people who would vote for independence. 54% would vote yes, and those voting for the many other parties, 59% would vote yes. That's largely due to the high support from Teal voters. However, there's a clear opposition to the proposal from the Liberal and National Party supporters. A clear majority, 64%, say they would vote no, and only 15% say they'd vote yes. One Nation supporters are even firmer in their opposition. Nearly 3/4, 71%, say they'd vote no to the Voice. These results suggest the campaign next year could prove divisive on a number of levels. The National Party announced in late November that they would be supporting the no case for the Voice after objections raised by their Indigenous senator from the Northern Territory, Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price. As yet, the Liberal Party, led by Peter Dutton, has not announced a position, but have asked for more detail before they pick a side. Looking at these results, though, it's clear that the average Liberal voter has already made up their mind and that they will be voting no. A majority of 57% of women say they'd vote yes for the Voice. Only 26% would vote no. In comparison, just under half men, 49%, say they would vote yes, while 35% would vote no. An analysis by age shows that majorities of all age groups under 65 would vote yes to the Voice, with support strongest for people under 35. 60% of that group say they'd vote yes. In contrast, only Australians aged 65 plus say they would vote no, but it's not a majority. 47% say they'd vote no, compared to 40% that say they would vote yes. However, the most important demographic break for any referendum is the result by state. The good news for proponents of the Voice is that majorities of Australians in 5 states say they would vote yes for the Voice. The only holdout is Queensland, with 44% of people saying they would vote yes, compared to 38% that say they would vote no. As you may know, for any referendum to pass in Australia, a majority of voters nationally, as well as a majority of voters in at least 4 Australian states, must vote yes to the change. This double hurdle is a key reason that not many referendums have passed in Australian history. The last successful referendums to pass in Australia were nearly 50 years ago. In 1977, relating to Senate casual vacancies, the conduct of referendums and the retirement of judges. Does anyone remember them? And for those of you thinking I've forgotten about the marriage equality vote, that was a non-binding plebiscite rather than a referendum to change the constitution. Looking forward into next year, the first big political event will be the New South Wales election, set to be held in just over 3 months' time at the end of March 2023. The Liberal National Coalition government in New South Wales is the only coalition government on the mainland after losses in South Australia and nationally early this year. Premier Dominic Perrottet, who came to power in late 2021, and opposition leader Chris Minns, who became leader of the Labor Party in mid-2021, will both be facing the voters for the first time as leaders of their respective parties. In the previous New South Wales election in 2019, the coalition won a narrow majority with 52% of the vote, compared to the ALP on 48% on a 2-party preferred basis. Looking at the latest Roy Morgan New South Wales voting intention data for November 2022 shows a close result is expected again next year, but at present the winner and loser are reversed. The ALP is on 52% compared to the Liberal National Coalition on 48% on a 2-party preferred basis. And we at Roy Morgan will be monitoring the political situation in New South Wales closely over the next few months in the lead up to the election. Well, that's our last webinar this year, and I want to wish everyone a safe and happy festive season, and I look forward to seeing you all again next year.